We next move to the second part of the project, which is going to use an array of objects of a new borrower class that we have yet to define. And this class will be used to introduce two new concepts, one of containment and events, which is more, the one we want to concentrate on most. So when one of the borrower's class property members, is an object itself rather than an ordinary variable, your doubles, integers, and so forth. So when the member is an object of a loan class in this case, okay, that is what containment means. So one class contains another if an object of the first class, like a borrower, has a member which is an object of another class, like loan. So the second concept that we want to emphasize the most in this and next video, I suppose, will be that of allowing borrower class to have an event, raising that event by newly created borrower class method, as you will see, and then having an event handler in the main program respond to and do something. Okay, so before we reopen or switch back to the project and FRM borrowing loans form, I'm going to go over one more slide here to sort of hit the highlights on raising events. So in this slide, we briefly describe the new concept that will be shortly coded in the borrowers class and the main program. We start by sort of declaring at the top of the borrowers class code the public event loan approved. There'll be a bunch of parameters I didn't want to write here, but there will be in the code. That this line will indicate, okay, that the borrower class will be able to raise this event. The actual act of raising event is described a little bit here, will occur in a submit app method of the borrower class. Okay, back at the top in the main program, okay, the applicant is going to be the name of the object that is declared as the new new object of the borrower class. However, you will notice that in addition to the regular dim applicant as new borrower, we have this keyword with events. Okay, this means that the applicant object is able to respond to the events raised against it, just like the command button raises the click event when pressed on by the mouse. However, unlike the physical nature of clicking, tabbing, moving the mouse over an object, and things like that nature, the code objects respond to events raised against them with the raise event keyword, as we just discussed earlier. Okay, rather than one of those physical actions of clicking or tabbing or whatever. So the raise event happens as already indicated in the submit app method of the borrowers class. Okay, right here. Okay, and then the applicant underscore loan event applicant underscore loan event approved event handler, right, sort of takes over, okay, and responds to that event being raised on that particular object, applicant object. Okay, so let's see. We'll switch back to, we talked about containment already. This is the definition of it at the bottom. We'll switch back to the code, right? We're going to close the payment calculator, event and the form. Right click on the borrowing loans, briefly review the designer. It's going to have a lot of similar elements to it, excuse me, related to loan portion of this whole process, right? Amount borrowed, termed, interest rates, type. And in addition to that, we'll have these borrower aspects such as the name, such as the security number, a credit score, okay? And then we'll display, certain loans, because this is going to be an example used to also illustrate the arrays of objects, right, which is sort of one step further, which means processing, multiple applicants instead of just one. Okay, although the first video is going to concentrate more on the individual objects. So switching to the code, okay, we begin coding the borrower class by scrolling down towards the bottom. Okay, you will already notice that there are several of these properties directly exposed to the public, like name, social security number, income, and then we have a private M-score member, okay, that is a FICO score that is processed a little bit separately. The reading is sort of direct with returning that M-score, but the writing has a little bit of validation because the FICO scores go between 300 and 850. If the user enters something under 300, the score is going to be assumed to be the lowest. If the user enters something above 850, the score is going to be assumed to be the highest. And then the else, case else, actually has, you know, all those reasonable numbers in between 300 and 850. Okay, there's another public property status as in approved or denied or in review. We'll see there's three statuses towards the end of the series of videos there as well. Now, what we want to concentrate on, however, is the member object variable rather than a simple one, right? Like these strings, integers, and doubles. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a public property, okay, but again it's going to be an object, okay, of credit type of credit object of type loan, right? So this is the containment, right? The class of loan, okay? So the class borrower contains the class loan, right? When a member of the borrower class, which is this credit object, is an object of another class loan. So now you can sort of see how, you know, this information is sort of embedded, right, and sort of piggybacks on what we've done in the payment calculator form. So this credit, this loan class and credit object, you know, that will be eventually instantiated from it, you know, this code that is in FRM payment calculator is available here as well. It's a public class by default unless you restrict it, which we don't want to do. Okay, the second piece we want to discuss is adding the public event called loan approved, open close parentheses. Okay, and the parameters that we're going to have here are going to be score as integer. That's the FICO score we need to pass to see whether a loan is going to be one of the deciding factors, whether a loan is approved and, you know, sort of in review or outright denied. Then adjusted MTH income as double, which I'll discuss later on, another parameter that goes into determining the approval of the loan. And finally, the monthly payment itself as double. Okay, so this particular line indicates that the borrower class, right, this guy here, that the borrower class will be able to raise this particular event. Okay, and we already sort of mentioned several times that this is going to happen in a new method of the borrower class called submit app that we discuss next. Okay, so the sub name is, as I said, submit app, open close parentheses. Okay, and it has the following parameter, MTH PMT again, MTH monthly income percentage, monthly income percentage as double. Okay, then first going to do calculate monthly payment. Okay, and I'm going to use that. We're going to do that rather by using the credit member, this guy right here, the credit object member of loan class type as a member object member variable or the borrower class, right? So we are able to access all, not just the data, but all the functionality of the loan class here. And MTH payment gets assigned underscore credit. You'll see that it gets you know, all the data and all the methods, including calc month payment, available to it. Then the next thing this submit app method is going to do, other than calculate monthly payment, is to figure out 28% of the gross monthly income, which is based off of the annual income. So MTHINC percent is going to be the annual income, which is a property of this borrower class, divided by 12 to get the gross monthly income, and then multiply by 0.28, which is sort of a rule of thumb. The monthly payment for a loan should be under this number, whatever that is. Finally, the third thing that this submit app is going to do is what we've been mentioning all around, which is to fire or raise loan approved event. Okay, so raise event loan approved. You can see that it drops down there with M score as the FICO score, and then these two variables, or these two values rather, that we just calculated, which is MTH income percent and MTH monthly payment. Okay, so when this particular line of code is encountered, right, by calling submit app method in the main program, right, after these calculations are made, and assuming the FICO score is available, which it will be, okay, that this is going to fire up that event loan approved to sort of process, the approval, which you'll see is going to be a relatively simple algorithm that does that. Okay, and this is a good place to stop. So I'll switch back to the presentation and pause.